WIP.
Josh Innes Show 326. Every Thursday at 325, we talk with Wolf from Justice Rescue. Some animal stories here, to take an old radio term, little animal stories with my buddy Wolf. So last week when we were on the phone with you, because you couldn't come in because you said you were on a rescue, and it was going to be a pretty big one, right?
Right.
So you come in, or you call us, and you say, I can't come in. So the rescue that you actually went to that day was the one that we're going to talk about today, which sounds like it was an incredible rescue. Now, set the scene for us. Where was it? What part of town, et cetera?
You know, I've been doing this for a lot of years, and this is one of the tougher rescues that I've been on because of the fact that these two dogs, we didn't know anything about them. We just knew that there was aggressive dogs behind a door at an abandoned drug house building. And I know that because we've rescued dogs out of that same building in the past.
So is it just a house?
It's an abandoned house. Yeah.
So, but there's been dogs in there before.
That's right.
Now, are these fighting, like dogs that are used for fighting, or what?
Yeah, it's with all of my investigations, it's one of the bigger fighting areas. As a matter of fact, on that block in the corner, they fight dogs all the time.
Unreal.
So that's where our investigation starts there.
So you're not shocked that you have to go to this house?
Not at all. We go so much. We actually there's so much crime there with animal abuse. We patrol that, looking for it, not only waiting for reports. So with this, the dogs were locked behind a door. The door was broken up. The dogs were trying to come through the door at us as we were trying to help them. They were coming at us, and it was so dangerous that we actually had to exit the building, board the building up.
And why was it dangerous?
It was dangerous because of the area, the people that were coming around. But not only that, is these dogs that were aggressively coming at us were coming through this door at this point.
Gotcha. So the dogs were aggressive, and that was your main fear.
That's right.
Gotcha.
That's right. So we had to go get some blockers and some other tools and equipment to be able to secure the door so we can get the dogs out safely.
Sure.
So during that time, I had 5 Chester City police officers with us. We had a state trooper that was with us, one of my friends helping. We were all working that day of rescue for about 2.5 hours, right after I got off the phone with you.
So 2.5 hours, you're in Chester, right?
Yeah.
And this house, this drug house that you're referring to, you're trying to get into it, but you have to be cautious because there are dogs that are aggressive in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and with that, I mean, you get multiple dogs coming at you at the same time. There's no way to defend yourself that you're not going to hurt those dogs.
Sure.
And that was our main concern, is making sure that those dogs didn't get hurt.
How'd you eventually get them out?
We actually got a kennel gate and screwed it in over the door, and then took the door off the hinges, took the door open to be able to get in there with poles to be able to loop them. One, the female ended up, as soon as we opened the door, ended up being very friendly.
Yeah.
But the male was protecting her. And
sure. The incredible part about this, though, is what happens after. So you rescue these dogs, and you find out that they have an owner, and the owner's not some druggie, some bad guy that's treated them poorly. The story's incredible about this. Share that.
Yeah. So when we get the dog back to our facility, it's very late at night. Handling the dog, got it in a kennel, and then I saw the little flashing of his tag.
Yeah.
That's hanging from his collar. So, of course, we couldn't get close to the dog. He was still very fearful and very aggressive. So we actually got a snapshot picture of it from outside the kennel, was able to blow up the number. And, I'm sitting there debating, I gotta be careful when I call somebody like that, because I'm not about to put the dogs back in the same
Sure, because it very well could be a drug guy, could be a guy that's fighting dogs.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm not about to put them back in the hands of somebody that's going to abuse them. So I'm hesitant, and I call, and then I got the owner, Damien, here on the phone. And when I started talking to him, that did you lose your dog? And I got questions. I don't just say, hey, I found your dog. Hey, did you lose your dog? What did it look like? And the emotion that I heard from Damien over the phone was very relaxing to me. I hear his emotional aspect of it. Once he believed me, he believed that I had his dog.
Sure. Now Damien is with us. These are your dogs. So were the dogs? Did they go missing? Were they kidnapped? What happened?
They got out the house earlier in the week, and they took off running. Nobody seemed to see them. I looked through the whole neighborhood day and night for the whole week, pretty much.
Traveling by the same house.
I actually went down the block that the dogs were in. I backed my car down the block, and I jumped out my car, and I was screaming their name, and I didn't hear nothing then. It went on for days doing the same exact thing.
Which is obviously tough. I mean, right? I can see some emotion in you right now. These are your dogs. How long did you have you had the dogs?
I had the male for about 6 years now, and then the female, she's only 3.5. I had her since she was 3. So
So these are your two dogs. You love. I mean, anybody that's got dogs knows you love your dogs. They're like part of the family.
I love my dogs to death.
So what's going through your mind when the dogs get out? You're looking for them.
Actually, I got a phone call when I was at work when they got out.
Yeah.
And I dropped what I was doing and I flew home. Start looking for them. That was the first thought in my mind, is got to find them.
Sure. And you didn't find them. So how?
No.
I mean, was there a point that you had kind of given up? What was the time frame here?
I actually looked all week long, day and night. I called a couple days out from work. That Friday, I was going out to look for them, and I was getting in my car when I was done work, 5 o'clock. On my way home, I got a call from Justice Rescue saying that, asking me questions about the dogs. And I'm like, how do you know all this about my dogs? How do you know what color they are? And
sure.
And that's where it went.
That's amazing. Now, Wolf, how did they end up in this house?
That's nobody had saw, but just from my experience on the block, that's where they store the dogs. That's where they store drugs.
So like when you say they store the dogs, so that means a couple of bad dudes found these dogs, and they were going to put them in there and either train them to fight. They were going to use them as drug guard dogs. I mean, a lot of different things they could have done.
Yeah.
That's the assumption here, though.
Yeah, there's no good reason why somebody would take the dogs off the street or wherever they got them from and lock them in an abandoned, filthy, dangerous building.
Sure.
With any good intentions. And my experience being on that block is they do. They
sure.
use them to guard drugs, and they fight them on that same corner.
Unreal. So then you called Damien. Now, obviously, you're just rejoiced when you hear this, right? Absolutely. I mean, this is the best moment you can have. Can you describe, let's get it on your end first, Wolf. Can you describe the call, the emotion, everything that you guys were feeling?
When he first called me, I was a little bit in disbelief just because nobody had seen them all week long.
Sure. Here, grab that microphone right there. There we go.
Yeah, I was saying I was just a little in disbelief that the phone call was even real. It was just shocking when he told me he found them. I thought they were gone for sure. Yeah. Either somebody was keeping them or they could have got hit by a car. I mean, there's a lot of busy roads right there. I mean, it could have been anything.
Sure, and that's part of what you guys do that's so great that you may not get from other places. Like somebody may find a dog and, they might call in because there's a microchip and all that, but not a lot of places, I would say no places, are going into drug houses, broken down houses to find this. If not for Justice Rescue, those dogs either stay in there and die potentially, they become drug dogs, they become fighting dogs. That's what Justice Rescue does that nobody else can do.
That's right.
Yep.
It's amazing.
We target them. We target specifically the heinous crimes like that.
It's amazing. Now, if people want to see this stuff, now you're going to show me some videos next week that we're going to talk about.
Yes.
But you've got the show that's going to start, the reality series on YouTube. When does that start?
Well, May 14th is our premiere.
Now, and I know you guys have a big event coming up that you guys are going to, show the video to a lot of people. But what you guys do, and I ask you this every week for people who don't know, but what is Justice Rescue? What separates you from the other guys?
Justice Rescue rescues animals directly from the hands of abusers. There's nowhere we won't go, and there's nothing we won't do to help these animals that need us.
At any time of day.
Any time of day.
That's the other thing that's fantastic is, we were on the phone with you at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You said, I can't come in. I'm out on a rescue. And that's what everybody told us. They said, listen, Wolf may not be able to come in some days. Some days he won't be there because he's out on a rescue all hours of the night. What's the most recent rescue you've had?
Most recent one was yesterday. Another drug house, another dog that was in jeopardy. This dog has skin. It's a very large pit bull. Has skin rotted completely off of her.
And how does that happen? Like, is it just chained up? Like, what happens?
Yeah, well, this one was actually inside of a house in very bad conditions where she was laying in trash and garbage and, just rotting from the feces and all of that.
Yeah.
But there was drugs in the building and broken needles. There's more needles than I've ever seen in one area.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And for those who also don't know, if you go to the Justice Rescue Facebook page, there are adoptable dogs. Like I saw adorable pit mix, right? And I forgot, what was the
Kaiser.
name? Kaiser. There's these little puppies. And when you tell me how you find these dogs, like this is a beautiful pit mix. Kaiser, for instance, where did you find Kaiser?
Kaiser was actually running the streets, and people were trying to help him, but he was scared, and he actually ended up running in the middle of a road and just flat laid down in the middle of the road.
So you then have to get a call about this. There's a dog laying in the middle of a busy road. You have to go get this dog.
Yes.
And how big is this dog at the time?
About 30 pounds.
Well, 30-pound dog, and that's what you do. And then all these dogs are up for adoption at Justice Rescue.
That's right.
And if they want to see these dogs, obviously the best way to do it is the Justice Rescue Facebook.
Justice Rescue Facebook, yeah. You can have there's links to our website there and see all of our rescue stories. We are 100% funded by nonprofit. We are a nonprofit. We're 100% funded by donations that come in.
Sure.
And we, ask for the support for us to continue to do that.
You guys do great stuff, and I'm glad we get to talk to you every week. Damien, I'm glad that you found your dogs.
Thank you.
Amazing story. And I think this is on CBS tonight, right? There's a story about you guys tonight.
That's right.
On CBS 3, then, you guys did a little segment with them about what you guys do, about finding them. I'm glad that you guys are getting some exposure for what you're doing. It's
thank you so
outstanding.
much. Yeah, the CBS story will cover the actual scene, is where the interview took place there, so you'll be able to see. If you tune in tonight, you'll be able to see the rescue area.
Awesome. Well, Wolf, good seeing you as always, my friend.
You too.
Damien, good to meet you, sir.
You.
Glad you got your dogs. And that's a great story. So every Thursday, we have these kind of stories here on the Josh Ennis Show for Justice Rescue every Thursday at 3:25. It's the Josh Ennis Show.